The dad.
Rock and roll!
Well, judging from the carving on your desk, it looks like his name is Ozzy.
Yes, and apparently he rules.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
So Disney had their third quarter financial earnings call today, and Josh D'Amaro had quite a bit to say about Mando and Grogu and Moana, but we're going to concentrate more on Mando and Grogu. He admitted that the box office wasn't what they wanted out of the movie, but the fact is, as Cameron quoted Sparrow, they expect the movie to sell merchandise and park visits, and that's exactly what D'Amaro said. And with the introduction of Han, Luke, and Leia, and Vader to Galaxy's Edge, and the seemingly sidelining of the sequel trilogy characters, and basically renaming a lot of it, it looks to me that the feelings that Mando and Grogu wasn't a bust are pretty realistic. And it is getting a Blu-ray release, so add it to your collection. I bought it on digital and rewatched it, and to be honest, as much as I liked the movie at the theater, it's made for TV. That's what it's for. And I do believe now that it probably was a stitched together film version of season 4. And I know John probably has more episodes in a vault somewhere, so he could actually go and do more with it. But the fact of the matter is, with a company like Disney with so many divisions, a movie that might not do as well, soft box office, will eventually pay for itself and add to net profit because it is popular and people do like it. People do like Grogu. And really, I mean, when you watch it, you suddenly realized you were lied to about it. It wasn't woke. It could be silly at times. And you know, if it changed a little bit, like if you had the Millennium Falcon off in a corner and you see people you recognize from a distance at the end looking at Road to the Hut going, what the actual fuck? You know, Han, Luke, and Leia, and Chewbacca, and the droids going, you know what the, there's a hut here? That would have been kind of funny. That would have added some George Lucas humor to it, I think. But it is actually a good movie. And the fact of the matter is that it's been number one. It's been on the top for the Blu-ray sales. I bought it on digital. And it's a good transition to something different. So let's talk more after this video.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
So Josh D'Amaro is actually, what I think, doing exactly what we were told that they were doing. They are moving away from, quote, the Skywalker saga, which actually means they're moving away from the sequels. And they have not yet really come out saying what they were going to do with that garbage. With Mando and Grogu bringing people to the parks selling merchandise, it pretty much can tell you that those two characters are fairly popular with real Star Wars fans. And the fact that they also brought Han, Luke, and Leia, and Darth Vader, for whom the franchise is about, back to the parks, and basically have pushed the sequel characters off to the side, says a lot. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because it's in the subtext of the Vanity Fair article that there's change coming. And again, if you look at the merchandise, the only way you can get a Rey character is if she comes in a pack with something else. Now, we've got Starfighter coming out next year, next May. We've got Ahsoka coming out in early 2027. And it's kind of exciting to see what this is going to happen. Now, there is a rumor out there. Jason Ward has put this out there that Rey is going to show up at the end. And this is not even close to what's going on. Again, if in fact they are not going forward with any of the sequel trilogy stuff, and there was an article on Inside the Magic Kingdom, whatever that website said, that they've pushed all of the, quote, movies to a back burner. In fact, the Rey movie hasn't been looked at. Translation, they're dead, right? Anything that has to do with sequels is dead. And the reason why it doesn't make any money, the merchant, look, it's not just the fact that they won't do well at the box office, and they won't. It's the fact that the merchandise itself does not sell. It does not do anything. And Rey does not bring people to the parks. I mean, I hate to tell the blue-haired land whales and the lesbians out there, but she doesn't, okay? Neither does Kyle Ron. Sean Levy, with his movie Starfighter, didn't want to have to deal with all that crap. And it is, for a message, crap. Right? I mean, Kennedy era, and before Jon Favreau showed up, is crap. I mean, Rogue One is fine. I don't think they're going to decanonize that, but they are going to decanonize the sequels because they don't work. And now I'm going to say this. It also could be the reason why they haven't really announced these movies are all dead, and that the sequel trilogy is dead, is because they're afraid of causing trouble with the sequel fans. Yeah, you have to understand. The sequels attracted people that belong to Antifa. Pablo Hidalgo himself had in his Twitter bio, before he changed it, Antifa in his bio, right? Not that you would ever see that fat ass running around burning buildings down. But he did. And then he got rid of it because probably someone said, you're going to get in trouble for that. Okay? A coward does what a coward does. All right? That's all. But that's what it attracts. Doesn't attract a vast majority of people to want to watch it. Right? And I think they've done focus groups. I think they've done the means testing. And it's right out there in front of everybody that this stuff that Kennedy was behind does not work. And of course, The Acolyte was a laughingstock, right? I mean, look, you can sit there and scream woke isn't dead, and you look at The Odyssey, the garbage that it is, it's still making money. I honestly don't believe it's going to make $1 billion. It might. On the other hand, Spider-Man is absolutely wrecking it right now. Made $1 billion in the first 6 days. That should be a Star Wars movie, and if they'd done it right, it would have been. Right? I'm not going to watch either of them because I can't stand that kind of comic book crap. And I will not patronize anti-Western culture garbage like the Odyssey. But, woke doesn't really appeal. And I think people are not pleased with what they're seeing with some of the stuff they've seen, even if the movie made money. Same thing with, the Force Awakens. When people walk out of a movie and it's supposed to be the first one in a trilogy, they should be uplifted and flying. Instead, people walked out in silence. They were horrified. They didn't know why. They wanted to say they liked it, and they were lying to themselves, but ultimately they were horrified. And if you look at the merchandise sales and then the falling box office for every film afterwards, it just proves that the sequels don't work, these characters don't work. And I honestly think that Josh D'Amaro understands that. I think Dave Filoni knows. And again, you got to remember, Dave has people standing over his shoulder watching everything he does. Okay? And, what they got to do is they've got to undo the damage of the leftist gatekeepers like Molly Damon, Star Wars Explained, the gatekeepers at Lucasfilm itself, right? They still have a lot of work to do, and they haven't straightened it out quite yet. But I think they're getting there, and I think the stuff with Mando and Grogu is actually good news. And if you're a black pill, you want to argue with me, I'm just going to tell you what Josh D'Amaro said, right? They can't pull lies out during earnings calls. That's a violation. That's an SEC violation. Okay? So what you heard is the truth. Anyway, just want to put this out there. Cameron's got a blog up about it. And anyway, there you go. Have a nice day, and I'll see you around the galaxy. Remember, no droids, no bounty hunters, no Raylos, no Ray Nobodies, no black pills. Steph signing out.